one day Apple Bloom were at School of Friendship to deliver some lunch to her older sister, which Applejack had forgotten back home. But when she was just outside of Twilight's office, she heard her older sister and her friends talking about something. They were talking about the trio, which is now known by the three villains, Cosiglo, Chrysalis, and Tyrek. She overheard the conversation about if they should even release one or all of them in for a redemption program. But the others were much against the whole thing, because first, Chrysalis would even allow herself to be redeemed. And Tyrek, well, the same thing is for him. He only wanted power, power, and power. But talking about Cosiglo as for being redeemed, it was really something that they couldn't even agree on to. But at that moment, Apple Bloom opened the door and Applejack was like, Sugar Cube, what are you doing here? Applejack, you forgot your lunch. Again. So Granny Smith told me to get back here for you. Oh, again? I'm so sorry, Sugar Cube. I really are so forgetful these days. Thank you, Apple Bloom. You can go home now. But Apple Bloom didn't even leave. Is there something else? Yes, I actually heard you talking about the trio and about this redemption program. Oh, you heard that? Asked Twilight. Yes, I did. Apple Bloom, if I had to ask you this, which one of the three of the trio do you think is the best candidate for this redemption program? Well, it's not that difficult to say, knowing for a fact that neither Chrysalis or Tyrek doesn't even like the idea of being friendship, And even though I think Cozy might even be the best candidate of all this, but to her defense, what is that? But the others, they rejected the whole idea. Sweetie Belle, sweetie, why do you think a Cozy Glow can even be redeemed? Asked Rarity. I mean, isn't that what the whole thing is about? Said Apple Bloom, almost like in defense. I mean, if it wasn't for Fluttershy, she wouldn't even have to give the chance to redeem, Discord twice. So why wouldn't you even give Cosiglo the chance to redeem? Well, it might have been because that she is a liar and easily to manipulate other ponies, said Rainbow, almost at the defense back. True, but you don't even know for a fact if you haven't given her the chance. I mean, she's not like she can cause any actual magical damage. I mean, she's not even a unicorn. She has a point there, said Applejack. But I can agree with my friends, Apple Bloom. But no buts. No, she's right, Applejack, said Twilight. I think we should let her speak with her mind. It's sometimes good to have outside perspective, Thank you. Well, if Cosiglo would be part of the program, it would be best to have some pony like a mentor or maybe something like that to, overseeing her training and to be redeemed just to make sure she actually showing progress but how would you have known or any pony known if she isn't even serious about it? She was easily manipulating all of you, and including us, said Rainbowback. Yeah, that's true, but you don't know for a fact if you actually give her the chance. How about this? Release Cozy Glow, and I'm volunteer to be her mentor for this. The whole room went complete silence. Sugar Cube, are you serious? You know what serious matters that is. And you're just a child. I mean, Applejack, isn't Cozy Glow a child herself? She has a point there, said Twilight back to Applejack. But still, she is too dangerous for you to handle. How about this? Me and my two friends will be the one that to, you know, look after her. After all, we were the one that actually encountered her in the first place. Well, I mean, if you think that's a good idea, but then both Rarity and Rainbow stepped in. I know that maybe that Sweetabelle might be able to help, darling. But Rainbow's like, I don't won't even let her to decide for what Scootaloo would choose. She was almost getting a bit angry. I mean, how about this? Why don't you bring both Sweetabelle and Scootaloo in the conversation later and ask them if they're willing? If they both say no, then I back out for myself too. But if they both agreed, we will let Cozy Glow out. Alright? Fair enough, said Rainbow Dash back. In that same afternoon, they did summon both Sweetabelle and Scootaloo to the School of Friendship and had the same conversation, but shorter version. And they were waiting for a response both from Scootaloo and Sweetabelle. They both said agreed to let her out from the stone prison. Even though the most in a surprise to Rainbow Dash. Scoots, are you okay with this? Asked Rainbow, still in a bit of shock. Yes, I am actually, along with my best friends. If Apple Bloom believes that she can do it, and I believe in her. Even if it's gonna fail, said Rainbow back. I mean, there's always a 50-50 chance this will work or fail, right? So why not even to give her a chance? She's right, said Sweetabelle back. I mean, what do we have to lose? I mean, if we don't want to have them to be released, why don't you just smash the statue into pieces and then he really had to worry about the return? That part shocked every pony, including her own sister. Sweetabelle, what got into you? What? I mean, isn't it really obvious? Many ponies actually had talked about it in town. Why would they have to keep the statue of the most three biggest villains in Equestria's history? Right? Some people even want to smash a piece the statue themselves. But they know for a fact if they do that, it will have the consequences afterwards. I mean, it's just something people have been ponies are talking about, said Sweetabelle. It's enough, said Twilight suddenly, but loud. We will be meeting tomorrow, and we will have Cozy Glow being released. That is the final all that, and I understand all of you are still against the whole idea, but give them the chance. So by the next day, they actually summoned outside of the School of Friendship, where the statue was located, and the main six used their powers once again to release Cozy Glow. And when she were released, she was very much in a daze. It took her a moment before she realized what had happened. She saw the statue with Chrysalis and T-Rex still frozen in stone, but she was released. Then she saw Twilight and her friends, Kima Crusaders, standing in front of her. Oh, so you released me. Why? Didn't I even do that bad to just being released? But then Twilight stepped forward and said, Kosiglo, you have been chosen to be part of the redemption program. We released you because you're the best candidate to be redeemed. Me be redeemed? Are you sure about that? She said with a big smile. Listen to her, said Sweetie Belle afterwards. She was willing to give you a chance. Cosiglo, listen to Twilight, said Apple Bloom. So you're the one who caused this, didn't you? Yeah, she's the one who gave you the chance to be redeemed. So don't mess it up, said Scootaloo. What is a hostile? I haven't even done anything. Not yet. Well, at least not the moment, said Scootaloo. But then you know what I mean. Fine. What do I have to do? Do I have to write it on a board? Like, say, write the same thing over and over like 100 times? Or do I have to, like, do 1,000 hours of community service or something? Or do you have to send me to Tartarus for that? No. You are going to stay at Sweet Apple Lakers with my family, and your test trial time is gonna be for 2 months. 2 months. And after that, both Sweetie Belle and Applejack left with Cosiglo with them. The others just like stood there, still in disbelief. I will give them maybe just a couple of days, said Fluttershy. Again, about just only 1 day, said Rainbow Dash. I give them 2 months, said Sweetie Belle with a smile. Don't be so confident of yourself, Rainbow, Sweetie Belle, said Rainbow. Why not? You had to give him a chance. Fine, but 2 months is what I have. If she messed up any time before then, she's either back into Tartarus or back to stone. You hear me? Yep. So for the next several days afterwards, Cosiglo was still not really convinced that Apple Bloom and her friends would have been the one that tried to convince her to be redeemed. After they tried for 3 days without any form of progress, Sweetie Belle actually came up with a good idea. So they actually met outside the clubhouse when Sweetie Belle appeared with somebody else. It was actually Discord. Discord? What are you doing here? Oh, so that's true then, he said when he saw Cosiglo. Well, I'm out of here. Hey, Discord, you promised. Kidding, I'm kidding. So, Cosiglo, long story short, you've really redeemed. It's not that not really, it's not really boring. I would say boring. It's not really that ponies don't expect it. It's not worth it, but it is. I have gained so much friendship. In fact, ever since I redeemed, I am allowed to travel anywhere. I'm even still allowed to use my magic. But not to cause any problems, do you? Not in the same way as you think, no. But I do sometimes use my magic for pranks. Harmless pranks, if I may add. After a conversation between Cozy and Discord, it seems that it were somehow being effect on her. Because the very next day, Cozy was actually helping around at the farm. Even though that Applejack wasn't really convinced herself. But after a couple of weeks, things started to change. Even Cozy Glow, when they gave her a thing to do, like to deliver something into town or go into town to buy something that they needed by herself, she actually did that without even questioning. But there were some times that even Rainbow kept an eye on her, flying above her over and over when she was going somewhere. But she didn't even say anything or even try anything. But during this short time of a few couple of weeks, something else had happened. Apple Bloom, she has started to realize something. How cute, how lovely Cozy Glow is. She literally had been falling in love with Cozy Glow. She hadn't even told any pawn about this. Not even her own sister or even her friends. But she was planning to do that. And one day when Cozy Glow was helping at the farm, while Apple Bloom was at the treehouse with her friends, she mentioned something. Um, how do you think about Cozy Glow so far? I mean, she's proven her wrong that she actually is willing to do anything to redeem herself, said Scrollu. Even though I was hesitating that she would even do that. I didn't. Sure, you don't. No, honestly, I didn't. I honestly believe that she did have the chance in her to do it, said Sweetie Belle. But there is something else, though. What? Had you noticed anything different about her? Every time when she is alone with Apple Bloom, how she's either, I don't know how to say it, blushing, or she acts a little bit shaky. Now you mention it, yeah, I actually have seen that a couple of times, says Scootaloo. What do you think that that's about? Oh, I know what it is. You do? Said Apple Bloom. Yep, she is in love. Wait, how did you know? This was the same thing as for Rarity when she realized her true feelings for Spike. And in fact, when Twist, when she felt the same thing as for Rumble, same thing. Yanni, when you mention it, yeah, it does. Then it hit Apple Bloom even more. Wait, did you say she is in love with me? Yeah, seems like it. You hadn't even noticed? Yeah, I actually have noticed, and honestly, I like her the same way too. But then, wait, you do like me? The three of them turned and saw Kusiko standing by the door. In a shock, Apple Bloom did not know what to say next. So, you really like me? Yeah. I think it's our cue to leave for now, said Scootaloo. Agreed, said Sweetie Belle almost in an awkward smile. And they did leave. And how long have you been feeling this? If I had to be honest, even before you became this evil, I at the time was really interested in you. I was considering to start. I was actually planning to ask you out, but after we find out your true purpose were that you were the mastermind behind all this, and well, that would happen, I was stunned, shocked. But when I heard my sister and her friends was talking about releasing one of you for the stone statue, I was the one that convinced them to release you because I still believed there was some good in you. And how did you know that was all a lie? I mean, I could have been just been lying the whole time as you've been your friend. I know, but my feelings for you wasn't that a lie, but they were real. And they still are. But I understand if you don't like me the same way, though, Cozy. Apple Bloom. And before anything else, Apple Bloom was about to leave. But I want to be with you, said Cozy Glow right away, almost like it's screaming. That made her stop. Are you serious? I mean, you're not lying, though. No. I realized that you were the one that's mostly to give me the chance to redeem. I know for a fact Rainbow was not even happy about it or the whole thing. Am I right though? Yeah, it was pretty much. Even though that you and Twilight were the only ones that her friends was willing to give me a chance, I knew for a fact that if I messed it up, I would have either been turned back to stone or sent to life in prison in the Tartarus. I don't want that anymore. I want to be here with you. Even though most of the other ponies in town don't even talk to me or avoid me as much, which I don't even blame them for what I try to do, Apple Bloom walked up to her and said, Cozy, be honest. How do you feel about me? I love you more than anything, Apple Bloom. And then they actually smiled and started laughing. You know, I never expected you'd be so friendly of being honest. You was like Applejack. I take that as a compliment, said Cozy with a smile. So, do you? Yeah, I would like to be your girlfriend, Cozy. And they actually even shared a kiss. And at the same moment, Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle actually shared in a distance because this was something they really want to happen. But then came another problem. Now that they were officially dating, they had to reveal this to the public. And the first step was Apple Bloom's family. But they didn't have any much an issue on that. Because especially Applejack was seeing how much effort that Cozy had put in this program of redeeming. So she was actually happy about it. The rest of the family still had some hesitating, but they actually approved. And after a while, the rest of the friends in town also slowly accepted that Cozy really had redeemed. But there were very few ponies that still didn't even believe in any of these such beliefs at all. They preferred saying just that she's lying. But after more than 2 months, they all changed. They believed her. Because now Cozy had even started part-time at the post office. Even though she's still around 10 years old, but she helps to keep a line for the ponies and even help to taking the mail that's gonna be sent away. And even after all this, Cozy decided that she really wanted to be with Apple Bloom. So, but since her own family had moved away after what happened to her, so Twilight decided to take Cozy in by her place, since she has plenty of room in the castle, and she became like the adopted mother to Cozy. And Starlight became more like the second adopted mother or aunt to Cozy. But throughout the entire year, there were some obstacles that looked almost like if Cozy could have been going back to her old behavior, but it turned out they weren't, and so bad at all. In fact, that was just something that she was trying to help others with. But even so, Cozy's feelings for Apple Bloom remained really strong. But one day, Apple Bloom told Cozy that she is leaving town for about a week. She was going to Appaloosa with her family for a family reunion. Oh, so how long will it be gone though? A week? Yeah, about a week. Do this reunion happen often? Uh, once or twice a year or so. Depends what it is. Isn't it always the same location? No, sometimes at Appaloosa, sometimes here, sometimes I've been a little bit further away, but I wish that I could stay. But, I can't. I wish that I could spend some time with my family, said Kosuko. I don't think they even want to see me after what I tried to do. I mean, I don't even blame them for that. Have you tried to reach out to them? I I tried, but they sent the letter back to me saying that they want nothing to do with me whatsoever. So, yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, you kind of have a new mom now, though. But I mean, Twilight. Yeah, I mean, if you see from that point of view, then yeah. After that, Apple Bloom left for about a week. And during this whole week that when she was gone, Cozy Glow did spend a lot of time with Scootaloo, Sweetbell, Rumble, and a few others. In fact, even Cozy had got a lot closer to Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. They actually became really good friends. And they spent a lot of time together at Diamond Tiara's house to make makeovers, like try to do different style of mane, tails, and all that. Talk about fashion. But even all this happened, Cozy did miss Apple Bloom a lot. But after about a week, she came back home. She was really happy to see that Apple Bloom had a good time because shortly after she came home, they actually went to Sugar Cube Corner to just a small talk about what he had been up to for this past week. It was clear how much they loved each other so much. And their relationship only grew stronger and stronger for each day that passed. Sure, there were still some obstacles in their relationships, but they always overcome it. They always worked it out. Even there was one point that it was almost so close that they had broken up. Kosif assumed at first maybe that Apple Bloom had lost interest in her because she spent less and less time with her. But it wasn't on purpose. It was because they were near the sap apple season and that her family was preparing for that. When Cozy learned about it, she made understand it. And after they've been dating for about 12 years, now they're about in their early 20s, Apple Bloom thought maybe it was time to settle down and start a family one day with her beloved Cozy Glow. And at this point, Cozy Glow was now an official teacher at School of Friendship, along with Apple Bloom and her friends. And after they've been dating for 12 years, Apple Bloom decided it was time to propose to Cozy. So she took her to a small diner, a small restaurant in town where she did propose to Cozy. She was really happy. She said yes immediately. And they decided for which one who's going to be the maid of honor. Cozy had asked Sweetie Belle, and Apple Bloom had asked Scootaloo. They decided to have their wedding at the Sweet Apple Acres because they decided to invite the whole Apple family clan to the farm so they could be part of it. Of course, even though Sweetie Belle had asked, what about Cozy's family? Cozy didn't even try, but just about a few days before the wedding, Apple Bloom came home to the farm, which even Cozy had asked where she had been for a couple of days. Well, Apple Bloom had a big surprise, or at least a big shocking news. She actually went all the way to Philadelphia to find Cozy's family. You did what? You didn't even tell me. Wait, what happened? Did they? Apple Bloom said, no, they were not even trying to come in another way. Even when they saw me, I explained that I was your fiance. They told me simply, we don't have a daughter named Cozy Glow. Leave or we will have you removed from our home. They really said that? They really didn't even love me at all. I mean, to be honest though, I hadn't even talked to them in over 10 years. So, if they didn't want to come, they're not even invited, said Cozy. But they decided just simply don't have her invited at all. Because in her mind, her family doesn't exist anymore. She tried twice over the past 10 years, the past more than 10 years now. But at the wedding, it was just a normal one. And even after all this, their love for each other remains strong. And afterwards, they actually even went to Baltimore for about 2 weeks on a honeymoon. There, they just had a great time. Did a lot of sightseeing, just include exploring the whole town, just enjoying the local culture. After being married for about 2 years, both Cozy Glow and Apple Bloom they wanted to start a family of their own. So they asked Twilight for help, and she was more than willing to help them. Cozy decided to be pregnant first, and they eventually learned she were pregnant and they were expecting a daughter. Apple Bloom's family and their friends were so overjoyed. The only ones that didn't even know was Cozy's family, but they didn't even have any contact with them since then. Then the day came where Cozy's daughter was finally born. They named the daughter Rose Syrup Apple. She loved her family, and even at a young age, she became aware of her mom's bad past, but she didn't even judge her for that, because she only judged her for her goodness that she had done since. And her dream was to continue to work at the family's apple farm as before. Eventually, she did become married with a stallion who was working as a carpenter. They eventually have two daughters and one son of their own. 3 years later, Apple Bloom had a daughter which they named Pippin Apple. She loved the family's apple farm business, especially when it comes to sap apple season. Her dream was to making apple jam and even selling it of her own. And she did open her small store in town where she did sell apple jam. And she did get married at one point and eventually have two daughters and one son. 3 years later, Cozy had a daughter which they named Corella Wishes. She really loved fashion as a young filly. She often helped at Rarity's boutique in Ponyville. And when she was older, she actually started working in Candelot and especially along with Sassy Saddle. She did make some of her own designs that were in fact sold, and at some point she even got married and even had three daughters of her own. 3 years later, Apple Bloom had a daughter which they named Apple Bella. Abobella loved her family so much. She was very outgoing and had no problem to make easily friends. But her dream was in fact to be a painter one day. She did painting a lot when she was younger, and eventually she became a really known painter. And at one point she even married a stallion who was working at the gallery, and they even had two daughters and one son of their own. 4 years later, Cozy had a son which they named Autumn Tooth. He was the only earth pony in the family and also their only son. But when he was 16, he actually came out that he was gay, and with the also big support from his family. But when he was about 20 years old, he was actually in love with the Prince of the Sun, named Galactic Prism, who were the unicorn son of Celestia and King Sombra. Even when his family found out that he was dating the son of Celestia and King Sombra, they were all happy and a bit surprised, but still happy for him. And eventually, Galactic Prism and Autumn Tunes did get married. They even had twins together, a daughter and a son, both unicorns. After all this time, Apple Bloom does not even regret a single day that she allowed Kosoglow to be released from her stone statue prison. Because if she had even done that, she wouldn't even have found her true love within her true soulmate, Kosoglow. Even Kosoglow was more than happy to be released from that. Even though Apple Bloom realized it was also a 50-50 chance that Cozy could have been once again lying to her and manipulating her just to make her believe. But after that, Cozy did show honest, deep redemption. She was just happy that she managed to pull through. Even after all this, both Cozy and Apple Bloom were happy to be with the one that they loved the most in the whole world. And even both of them are both happy and proud to have 5 children and 14 grandchildren together. And this is how Apple Bloom and Cozy Glow found a true love, they got a big family together. The end.